Hi, my name is David Fleming from the YouTube channel of Disciples Ignited, where we're focused on Jesus, advancing his kingdom, and preparing his disciples. Now, Bible Treasures is a new series that we've started on the YouTube channel of Disciples Ignited, where we're helping you memorize scriptures. You know, there's nothing that I've done personally other than prayer that has helped me more in my walk with Jesus than memorizing scripture. And I know that it's going to be a great help to you too. Now, today we're going to start memorizing 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 4 and 5 from the NIV. So let's get started by looking at the entire passage. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 4 and 5 from the NIV. The weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. On the contrary, they have divine power to demolish strongholds. We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God. And we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. Now, you might be thinking, you mean we're going to memorize that whole thing? Oh, but don't worry. We're going to break it up into small parts so that by the end of this week, you're going to have these two verses totally memorized. You are going to do it. Now, you may be thinking, what are we actually fighting, or who are we fighting? Well, first of all, we're fighting against sin, temptation. We're fighting against Satan and demons. We're fighting against our own sinful nature that is constantly trying to get us into trouble. And this passage makes it real clear that we are in a spiritual battle against sin, against Satan, against our sinful nature. And that's why 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 4 and 5 is so important. This passage not only tells us exactly what we are fighting against, but also that we are going to be victorious because Jesus has given us all that we need to succeed, starting with his word that right now we're memorizing so that we can use it when temptation comes against us, when demons come against us trying to get us to sin, or when our sinful nature is just causing us havoc. Now, today we're going to be looking at the very first part of verse 5. The weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. Now, you can memorize that today. Sure, let's try it together. The weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. Now, the next day, we're going to be looking at the second part of verse 4. On the contrary, they have divine power to demolish strongholds. Then, on Wednesday, we're going to be looking at the first part of verse 5. We demolish arguments. And if you don't know what that means, we'll be discussing that on Wednesday. Now, on Thursday, we're going to be learning the very second part of verse 5, and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God. And we'll be discussing that also on Thursday. And then to close it up, on Friday, we're going to be memorizing the last part of verse 5. We take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. And that's it. So by Friday, you are going to have this whole thing completely memorized. Now, to recap, let's go back through that which we have memorized for today, the very first part of verse 4. The weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. Now, what I want you to do, I want you to join with me every single day this week. And as you do, we're going to be going through this more and more until finally by Friday, you're going to have this whole passage memorized. And so that you're going to be able to have it ready at your disposal whenever sin, Satan, or your sinful nature is just giving you problems, that you can use it to overcome the enemy at every turn. So join with me tomorrow and we'll get into it again. See you then.